improving in some areas and focusing on areas that we need to get better, which there's a lot of those. But I think it's an exciting time for us because I do think that there's areas that we can make large improvements. We're having to play some younger players for injuries, but we're also playing younger players because we want to. You know, whether you talk about what we did with Nate Thomas yesterday, you know, rolling him some in at right tackle, and, you know, Shamar James getting some work. I mean, you have to play these young guys because you're going to need them at some point. So there's things we're excited about, but the focus is now you move on to, you know, the Jets, another opponent, another championship opportunity coming in here.
Are you surprised that we're still talking about the struggles of the defense, particularly in the secondary?
No.
You have veterans there.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, there's a way to stop having those conversations, and that's to play better. We're capable of playing better. We need to play better. I thought our first down run efficiency and overall efficiency on first down was, I think, the best we've had, like 65% win on first down. Where we struggled was third down again. And we need to do a better job of self-scouting ourselves and what are we struggling with and what formations are giving us problems and why. We need to practice third down better, you know. You know, and then obviously in the red zone, you know, last couple of weeks we haven't done a great job of keeping them out of the end zone. And so for us defensively, it's, you know, the explosive plays have been a problem, and then, you know, getting the people off the field on third down and making them kick field goals. That sounds like a lot. We can't fix all of that today. We can't go and put in a magic defense that's going to fix those things. We have to fix it through execution and team defense and communication and better coaching, and that's what we're working for.
Clarence Hill, DLOS Cowboys, just a housekeeping note to start off. Any of the guys have a chance to come up IR or you start their window? Who are those guys?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that, you know, probably in through tonight and into tomorrow. I think there's a chance that there's a couple guys. I won't share with you who, but those conversations are a little bit early for us. You know, we're just kind of finished up the game, and now that we start getting ready for prepping the Jets, we'll have a better idea. But there's a chance that you could see a little bit of movement.
Secondly, in overtime, that you on fourth down, did you even think about going for it, considering how the defense had played to that point and try to put a touchdown up?
No, you know, I mean, we had our shots down there. You know, I didn't really like my third down play call. I thought there's a better call I could have gone with. That's me being accountable to the team and myself, and but no, I think you got at that point, you know, you're in overtime. You got to give yourself a chance. You get the lead, and we're going to always trust our team. You know, we're going to trust the team, and unfortunately, we weren't able to win the game, and we came away with a tie, and it doesn't sit well with any of us. But no, I didn't second guess that thought.
Brian Todd Archer with ESPN. Through a month here, you guys have the highest rated offense in yards and things like that, but when you look at complementary football, is your third down offense something that you needs to get better? Maybe in early in games you only scored 10 points in the first quarter. Like, that's a way that you can help your defense in a manner of speaking. Yeah, I think so. We never look at, hey, we want to be the first, you know, best offense in the NFL. We want to lead the league in wins. You know, that's what we want to do as a football team, and we don't really get caught up in the rankings per se, either good or bad, because it doesn't really matter. You got to find a way to win. But I would say, you know, we did some complimentary things yesterday. I thought we finally won the turnover battle, Todd. I thought that was good. The James Houston sack was a huge play, and then we were able to go out and sudden change. But, you know, yeah, we can be better on third down for sure. And part of it is, you know, being able to live in more third downs and manageable and things like that. We're certainly talented enough to do that. And then in terms of, you know, time of possession, it certainly helps as well. But I will say again, you know, we came out yesterday and, you know, the plan all along was if we get to third manageable in the first drive, I was planning on running it the whole time. Very good front. You know, saw some things that we thought we could take advantage of from them. You know, they're pretty aggressive blitzing defense, and you know, they kind of had us out leveraged. So their call was better than our call on the first third down. But again, it's a 60-minute game. I'm the first one to always preach it to our guys. You can't win the game in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. You're going to win it in the fourth quarter. And
So we'll look at it, but the third downs would probably be the biggest thing I would say that we just need to make sure we're on top of.
And then another overtime game. Do you have the same? How do you take care of guys' bodies? Do you think you'll do the same Wednesday?
Yeah, there'll be some things that we tweak. I got to see all the numbers still. I haven't seen all the numbers from the the catapult and all that stuff. We'll adjust something, but I plan on practicing. We'll just see what it looks like.
Then with Pickens, what did you when you made the trade? Did you reach out to people before that had been around this guy to say, what is he like? Tell me about him. Did you do any of that?
Oh yeah.
What were you told about?
Different things. How much he loved football, and that he loves to play the game, and you might have to deal with him being late occasionally, and some things like that, which sometimes we all oversleep. I could have slept a few more minutes this morning, but I didn't. But for the most part, it was all positive, and the people that we spoke to in and around the league and in Pittsburgh and at Georgia, they were very honest. And I think that's the cool thing about this league is people are honest, and you have to be careful whether it's good or bad information. You do your homework, and then that's part of the process. That's not the only process. And from the minute I sat down with George Pickens in my office and we shot some hoops, it was very clear to me that this guy was fired up to be a Dallas Cowboy and excited to help us go win games.
Has he been late?
No comment.
John Pashota with The Athletic. You talked about simplifying things on the defense in previous weeks. Is there any more simplifying left to do, or is it as simplified as it can be?
No, there's definitely some simplifying we can do. Like when you look at it, it's a good question, a fair question. We didn't tackle very well yesterday. Like that's one of the things that happened to us. We just didn't tackle well yesterday. And I talked to the guys about it. We've got a thing called cup tackling where you've got an outside piece, you've got an inside piece, and then you've got a guy, coming down from the top, and so it creates a cup, if you will. And we lost our cup at times. They had a very specific plan. They wanted to attack us in space, and so they were throwing the bubbles and the perimeter screens and things like that. And our cups weren't very good, and then we're still tackling a little bit high. And again, I know you asked me about simplifying. The other area that jumps up from simplification part is teams are attacking us on third down with quick cadences. If you go back, we forced a 3rd and 9 or 10, I think, on the very first drive. The very first third down of the game, I think, was 3rd and 9, and they kind of quick counted us, John, and we weren't ready. And talked to the guys about that today. The best type of defense is a ready defense, and that starts with us getting the call in from Flus, getting the call communicated, and then getting our cleats in the dirt and getting ready to play. And it started with Chicago. They did it to us some. And so people are going to challenge us with that. So you implement that a little bit more in practice, and you do a better job of preparing those guys. And the number one way to fix the third down issues on defense is to emphasize it and do it more in practice, which we will.
And then the flip side of that on defense, if someone was like, okay, so what is a positive that you feel like on the defense that you guys can build off of, what would that be?
Run defense. I mean, our 2 D tackles, Osa and Kenny, played their 2 best games yesterday. I thought those guys were excellent. I think our run defense is good. I've talked all week ad nauseum about Josh Jacobs and what a great back he is and the power and size that he has, but we did some really good things on first down, and Donovan Ezaraku, man, he just continues to excel, and he played really, really well. And in between the tackles, Jack Sanborn's been really good for us. But if we can make people one-dimensional, it gives you a chance. And so the answer to that question would be, I feel very good about our run defense.
Take care, Forward Star Telegram. How are things looking for Malik Hooker and Tyler Guyton?
Yeah, I think Geit's in the protocol. I think we feel like he's got a chance to play this week. Hook's got something we think a little bit more serious. Could be a couple weeks. Finishing up a few more tests, but he might miss a little bit of time.
On that note, what have you guys liked about Wanye Thomas throughout your time here, and then to be in that role yesterday? How do you think he performed?
Well, again, one of the biggest plays of the day was the block, on the extra point. Huge, game-changing, momentum-changing play. I love his professionalism. I love his work ethic. I love his grit. Smart. He is a good communicator. I think that's important. We're looking to improve the communication, and I think he does a really good job with that. And he's actually gotten a lot of reps in practice because, we're smart with what we've done with Malik and Dono from a practice standpoint. So he'll definitely be ready to go. And again, I thought he did a nice job for us yesterday getting called upon.
And from your perspective, how has this offensive line been able to stay so consistent despite a couple starters being out? You had to deal with the issue with Guyton and Steele during the game, yet you were still able to find running lanes and keep Dak mostly clean.
Yeah, number one, the brotherhood, that unit in most organizations is super tight. These guys are incredibly tight. Every Thursday night there's a dinner with the offensive line and the quarterbacks, and they spend a lot of time together. But I don't think it doesn't happen without a belief in what you're doing from a scheme standpoint, a belief in what you have with a coach like Connor Riley and Clayton Adams and guys like that. And it's pretty amazing to think about the team we just played and their ability to rush the passer, that we were able to do that. The protection plan was good. It was sound. And a guy that probably doesn't get talked enough about that did a hell of a job yesterday, and you guys can pull up the clips, was Javonte Williams. He was cleaning edges for us a lot, and there's times where you want to keep him in, and those things don't go in the stat book. But I thought he was incredible at that yesterday.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. When you guys brought in James Houston on the first practice at camp, did you think that he would be having this much of an impact for you?
Actually, I did, Tommy. I really did. Because we had a hard time blocking him. We really did. I remember in training camp, him winning on a rush on one of the early third down. It might have been a 2-minute period. But it just goes to show you, there's great football players out there everywhere. And what I love about James is, here he is going out and creating, havoc for the quarterbacks and making a strip sack fumble, recovering himself. But he's also running down on kickoffs last week, making the opening kickoff, and did the same thing yesterday in terms of making plays. And he's getting better against the run, and that's not necessarily his strongest suit, but he's working on those weaknesses. And anybody that's willing to work on their weaknesses, to me, is someone that you're excited to have on your team.
With CD and Tyler Booker, have you guys learned anything more on them, and if IR is a possibility?
Yeah, they're both trending in the right direction. We're not going to make any decisions right now. I think we'd rather not. I think Book's out of the boot, which is great, and I think both guys are getting better. And we'll see what the time frame looks like. But I don't think we plan on doing anything, certainly right at the moment. But we reserve the right to change our mind.